Hello, this is Mrs. Dommel, and today we're going to talk about the world-famous female artist Georgia O'Keeffe. Georgia O'Keeffe lived from 1887 to 1986, and she died when she was 98 years old. She was the second of 7 children and even lived in Williamsburg, Virginia when she was a teenager. When she was just 10 years old, she decided to become an artist, and so she did. Georgia O'Keeffe is world famous for her southwestern landscapes and paintings of close-up flowers. As a young adult, she taught art at several colleges and developed her style of these zoomed-in, super close, super detailed flowers. She later lived in New Mexico, and that's where she began painting bones, skulls, and southwestern landscapes. She was married when she was 37, but eventually he died, and she actually lived without him for 40 years, since she lived such a very long time. In 2014, one of her paintings sold for over $44 million. Here we see a few of her paintings. Notice the colors. They're muted and soft, and her colors blend in such a way that makes my heart feel quiet and at peace. The zoomed-in quality of her flowers are what makes her art unique and interesting. I hope you learned some interesting things today about this artist and enjoyed seeing some of her art. Today, we will be creating our own zoomed-in flowers for our Square One Art fundraiser.
What's the Square One Art fundraiser, Mrs. Dommel?
You might be asking yourselves. Well, that's an art fundraiser that we are doing for the school, where your art gets to be put on a whole bunch of different products that your parents could buy. Makes a great Christmas gift, and the best part is, you get your own sheet of free stickers. And here is an example of the flower that we're going to be painting today. First of all, you're going to need a pencil, a sharpie, and a white oil pastel for the details. For this flower, I'm going to choose one that's kind of zoomed in already to look at. And to get some ideas, here's a really simple drawing sheet that I included. Share with your neighbor. I'm going to draw a couple different flowers for you. You can even do your own kind. You don't have to follow these directions. But for this flower, I'm going to think of a flower that's simple and really zoomed in. So I've got these little sheets to help me out. Some different flowers to draw, some easy line drawings. And I'm going to start in the corner for this one, the center of the flower, and draw a quarter of a circle, nice and big, like that. And then I'm going to draw a couple of the petals. I'm going to overlap mine, but you don't necessarily have to. You could do your own thing. It's art, you have to be creative. But just in case you wanted to see how I draw one, I draw these big petals. I'm really zoomed on my flower. Like that. And then that's it for that flower. So simple. Oh, I forgot. Let's add another detail. Like the little part of the petal that might have a different color or texture on it. And that's about it for that one. Nice and easy, huh? Now for the next one, I'm going to draw maybe a tulip-shaped flower with a long stem. So here's a couple of my petals. And this petal goes behind the first petal. And maybe one more. And then I'm going to draw the stem down here. And that's all it is to that. A nice little tulip. Great job, Mrs. Dommel. Now here's our special Square One paper that we're going to be using. Your name goes on the back of this paper, not on the front. Maybe this flower right here I'll draw. And this one is my final one, and so this is the one I'm going to paint. But I'm going to start out with the center, right in the center of my paper, that nice little round part of the flower. And then I'm going to draw my petals all the way off, but I'm stopping right at that line, because that line is the line I do not want to draw above that line. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw all the petals. Some of them are going to overlap, I think. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just leave them so they're not overlapping. It's totally your choice. Oh, that overlaps a little bit. It's kind of going behind that petal. This one I'm going to overlap right off the page. And then maybe one more. Okay, perfect. All right, now I'm going to trace over all these pencil lines with this black Sharpie around the center. And then I'm going to trace all those nice petals that I drew. Now, of course, you don't have to draw this kind of flower. You could draw either of the flowers that any of the three that I drew, or even just do your own kind of flower. That's what art is creativity. You don't want to draw the exact same thing that I did. Get your own ideas. And I'm just finishing tracing my pencil lines. Don't skip any pencil lines. And now if you wanted to add more details, you could always do that after, but you do get just one piece of this special paper. I only have enough for everybody to have one. Just finishing up here with my black Sharpie. And I decided I was gonna put a swirly mark in the center, but you could do polka dots or circles or anything you wanted to in the center. I'm gonna draw a little detail like I did on the other. Now this looks like the number 6. I think I like that. I'm digging that a little bit and keep going. And one more right there. And now there's my flower. It looks pretty good. I think that if I use a little bit of white oil pastel on my flower, the paint is not going to stick in those sections. So with my white oil pastel, I'm going to go ahead and maybe draw some more shapes. I'm outlining my number 6 here. That one kind of went on top, but that's okay. All around. You'll see the paint is not going to stick. So I did it in each section. You could kind of see where it is when you do it. Maybe not so much on this video. And now I think we're going to get ready to paint. We're going to need these dry tempera paints. Here's some. They're a little bit wet. I put a little water on them with my brush before we started. And we're going to need this water here. And we're going to need a paintbrush. I'm going to put my paintbrush in the water, wipe it very gently on the side, and rub it around my paint maybe 10 times to get my paintbrush fully loaded with paint, and then spread it on my paper wherever I want it. It's nice and dark because I added some water. When I change colors, I need to rinse that out very well. And then rub it again on my, oh look, I didn't rub it enough on the paint. It's very, very dry. So maybe like 10 times to get started. Some water, to about 10 times. Now watch the difference. Nice and thick paint. That's what we like. Much different. Okay, rinse out that brush. Always before you change colors, give it a good bath. To give it a very good rinse before I change colors. So now here is my flower picture again. So I'm going to paint my flower petal red, I think. So I'm going to get my brush with a bunch of water on it, wipe it gently on the side, and I'm going to go around about 10 times in my red paint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and paint it right on my flower petal. And you'll be able to see right away that it's not going to stick to that oil pastel that I drew down there. It's already repelling. It means it's going away from the oil pastel. And I'm going to try to stay in the lines the best that I can. Notice I'm not scrubbing my paintbrush hard into the paper. I'm gently just brushing it on. It should be relaxing to paint. And when I'm getting a little dry there, I'm not going to scrub it to get it on there. I'm going to put it in the water, go around a few more times, get some paint on there, and paint it on. I'm doing a good job staying in the lines too, it looks like. Okay, and I'm going to paint all the petals red on this, but I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush so you can see how I'm going to use the yellow paint, but I'm not getting any red into the yellow. I'm not turning it orange. I'm going to wash my brush off really good before I attempt to paint the yellow. Remember to wipe it gently. And it's pretty clean and I can put it back in the yellow. about 10 times to get some paint on there and paint the center. Just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and paint all my petals red to keep that unity going. But you are welcome to paint yours any way you want. And again, here's the original flower that I painted. You can see that I stuck with one color for all the petals and another color for the inside. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Remember to share supplies, and if you have any problems, raise your hand.